Coming up on Art Focus.
Ghanaian. I'll add the word fanatic to my being a Ghanaian because I love this country. When I got on the scene, we're in the Gold Coast. I came in at a time when the struggle of independence had gained momentum. My family house is very strategically placed because the Independence Arch is about 200 meters from my family home. I saw it being built as a child. I heard the chants, the shouting, the campaigning for independence. I saw the fights. But most important of all, I saw things that were inspirational and very nurturing for a very imaginative person, child that I was at that time. And fortunately, the environment that nurtured me had people in place, men and women, who by their interaction with us inspired us to look beyond the Western facade and go for the things that made us complete. I am Sami Bentil, and I'm a Ghanaian. I'll add the word fanatic to my being a Ghanaian because I love this country. When I got on the scene, we're in the Gold Coast, and I came in at a time when the struggle of independence had gained momentum. My family house is very strategically placed because the Independence Arch is about 200 meters from my family home. I saw it being built as a child. I heard the chants, the shouting, the campaigning for independence. I saw the fights, but most important of all, I saw things that were inspirational and very nurturing for a very imaginative person, child that I was at that time. I mentioned the word being fanatic. Some of us here have been gifted with an understanding of our identity that inspires us to excel in the things we do. And based on the activities of the people around us who became mentors and role models, has brought me to this point where I am today, following or taking a profession that most people didn't encourage at that time. Nobody wanted their child to be an artist. Some of the comments that we heard were fraught in ignorance because they didn't know what motivates and the power of art. The art comes from imagination, and the imagination comes from the culture that one has been nurtured in, and our language. Because we in modern times have become westernized, we lost the ability to harness the richness of our culture, the descriptions in our language, our proverbs, our idioms, our symbols, that with understanding would make us excel as a nation. And fortunately, the environment that nurtured me had people in place, men and women, who by their interaction with us inspired us to look beyond the Western facade and go for the things that made us complete. Our food did wonders. After you've eaten some good African food, you start thinking, happy Ghanaian, if I should put it that way. And with the food came the music, the dance, celebrating the images. I had to define or come up with because I got asked how I describe my work. And I call my work humagination, based on the fact that my imagination, which has spurred my creative activities, centered on human activity. The activity that will make a curious child who wants to emulate the good examples of the elders around by copying. And if we're copying well, the elder will tell you, do this way, do it that way, or add this or that way. And then we've come up like that.
What is your favorite medium?
Acrylics. I fell in love with acrylics from the get-go. The acrylic medium is a very forgiving, versatile, durable medium that when used properly will give whatever you do, if you've done very well, longevity. So at the end product of our creative endeavors, we want somebody who has collected our work to have the work be in a good shape for them to hand it over to their children and maybe their children's children when it's well done, properly. So we who have seen the benefits of doing things properly and have enjoyed doing it, we'll keep doing it until people start picking up on it. We did that before. Proper Ghana. And people were doing things properly. The people who were cooking for the masses didn't go and cook ragamuffin food. They cooked good food. And they earned a reputation and people came for loyalty. That loyalty, the mark of excellence, has brought many of us from the pre-independence time to now. We still have the mark of excellence. We don't celebrate it enough. We're only leaning on mediocrity. But it's all part of our evolution. Those of us who are very optimistic know we're passing through a period that is challenging, but we'll come out clean.
How long have you been doing art?
From the time I learned how to use my hands to draw in the sand and try to emulate the things that inspired me. For me, personally, I lived on a road, the high street passed in front of our house, my family house, and would go, the Accra Community Center was my favorite spot, because each time I went on that road, I saw the mural that Kofi and Tumblr had painted, based on the Psalm 133, behold how pleasant it is that men will dwell together in harmony. Written in Ga, not English. I ended up being a young pioneer. The young pioneer headquarters was in the community center. And the most profound thing that happened to me as a child was on my 9th birthday. I'd gone to the community center and there was a poster of a painting of ancient Ghana dated 1047 AD. It was a painting of a Durbar with the kings and the noblemen and women sitting in the pageantry of, I'll say, awesome African celebration. That just sent me into a very positive space. Because the first, wow, is Ghana that old? I thought we were just a 1957 experience. No, we're going way back. That thing took me way back. Because suddenly, my imaginative mind put me in a trance. Because I came out seeing thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the air in my mind, singing songs, thanksgiving songs in the sky. There's a Ghana song, Afiyaya Neba Ninawo, giving thanks for the continuation in life. That scene, I little did I understand that it was going to have a very powerful impact in my life, because most of my paintings, I try to depict as many people as possible. I'm the one who started painting the thousands, based on, eventually this became part of it. If you kill 1,000 of us, 1,000 will come. Ukuma pima, apin baba. Then made even more impacting by the fact that during the slave trade, millions of our people didn't make it across the Atlantic. Nobody talks about them. But I live by the sea. And my ancestors and my elders talked about those who went and never came back. Something happened to me that I should honor them. But if I was honoring, who are these thousands that I'm bringing? I said, I'm bringing the thousands who are able-bodied, well-minded citizens of the African nation back to come and correct the wrongs that have been done to us. If it's an idealist fantasy, I believe it. So that inspired me. Let me paint our people in a way that will inspire a child. And then I found out it was a very clever device, and help using to let the children learn their counting and putting them to sleep. Because I've worked with children for a very long time. So they come, Uncle Sam, you have so many people in your paintings. I said, there are a million. So 1 million, let's start counting. By the time we get to 50, 100, they are falling asleep. Put them all to sleep, counting. That's the human side of art, right? But the biggest motivation, because I've grown, but the child in me never grew. The child in me is that creative spirit. And always when I sit behind the canvas, it is in celebration of the children who are here with us and the ones who are coming. I was diagnosed as being colorblind. I'm colorblind. I don't see colors like the way the normal person sees colors. So I have learned to feel color, and I use colors functionally. The key thing was to be a very good illustrator. So once, whatever I drew, it didn't matter, the color didn't matter. It was the activity in the painting that mattered. So bending reality, hiding things, because there are superpositions, there are layers in my paintings. Like a painting telling a story. And my thing, I found that gave my work the character, was to have that mystique about it that made a person, how did this person do this? And I paint with dots. I do pointillism. Now, the significance of a pointillism was when everybody in those days when we were growing up, everybody drew with lines, I dotted. But the line, is a continuation of dots. So I said, if I can control the individual dots, I can draw anything. But once I mastered the ability to draw anything, what am I going to draw? What am I going to paint? I'm going to paint the African or the black person in a positive light. As long as I'm alive, I'm going to celebrate our blackness in the most positive way possible. And the fact that I always drew the younger folk is a blessing. So if the parents are not happy about my influence on their children initially, they realized that once they came into contact with me, they became the pleasant children that they were not expecting to happen, because now the children had a creative pursuit. They could go in their corners and try to compete, draw, paint, and do the complicated layers that would make the parents wonder, hey, my daughter is doing very well. Yep. The title of this painting is Sound Question. There's Ghana, there's the question mark, and the inner space of a question mark is the Sankofa bird. Looking to the past, Sankofa. Let's look to our past for the wisdom of our ancestors to lead us into the future. If it's the paintings, there's work to be done. It's coming. It's gathering momentum, and when it hits there, when we hit full steam, we'll all be in wonderment. No, we don't have a long way to go. We don't have a long way to go. It just takes a spark. And the spark is just about to happen. Because we are teetering on our national and ethnic identity. Today as we speak, if you step out in the street, we've reversed the Ghanaian personality when we wore our own wax prints, Akosombo textiles drop on. People were doing things, we're wearing our sandals and we're wearing our kente. Now a lot of us are into foreign outfits. We're wearing labels of football teams and, fake reproductions of our own fabrics that have been dumped on us. Where do we show our real identity in this drowning or this dumping that is coming and it seems to be gathering momentum? There has to be a pushback. That is what we're doing. Let's celebrate ourselves. What are the images that give us our cultural identity and what I'll say, bragging rights? We have to celebrate the elements of our culture that make us who we are. We are not English, we are not German, we're not American, we're African. But we've taken names. Was there Ghana? That when I'm in the sky, I can see Ghana, that, oh, this is Ghana. It doesn't exist. Ghana is the name representing a portion of Africa. And in this portion, there are so many different tribes. But with the blessing, we harmonize. We've intermarried, we've exchanged cultural activities. That's our strength. But we're not focusing on that. But it's coming. It is inevitable. That's that optimism that I have. That inspires, that wake up. But let's keep doing our stuff because it's going to gain traction.
Let's talk about the markets for art. Is it good?
It's growing. The late bloomer will always win because the late bloomer is taking a natural time and getting really good. When you go into our forest, there are trees that take 1 year to grow, and there's some that take 20. Blessed are those who are around to enjoy the fruit of a tree that has taken 20 years to mature. Because after you eat, patience is the key. We are working out the kinks. And the market, it has to be a market that would inspire our people to excel. Let's have excellent expressions, that are worthy of somebody wanting to invest in, not flim-flam, cheap stuff. Like when in the 50s, it was very difficult to go and sell bad quality fabric to a Ghanaian. We had names like Oropopo and things that, oh, this is bad quality stuff. Everybody knows what good cloth is. We do know. So why don't we just celebrate? We have a problem right now that people have gone outside and instead of copying the good things and bringing here, they only bring their bad habits. There are bad habits even in creativity. Instead of being diligent and doing things properly, they're cutting corners. And we want to maintain our quality of expression, execution, so that the children will see that if you want the market to be sustained, for you to have a market and value, then put the good thing out all the time. I spent the last 35 years in America, the US. I went to the US on a secret mission. I might say it humorously, right? But I went as a Ghanaian spy. A spy for Ghana, a spy for me. Because I went to America as an already made in Ghana person, trained in the University of Science and Technology, having been the pioneers of a creative arts course that was introduced in 1972 in the College of Art. That opened the door for us to excel today. We had the freedom to express ourselves, try all kinds of mediums to excel in. So coming out of there, my father worked for the UN, so he relocated the whole family to the US in '71. But when I got to the US, that's when my Africanness kicked in. I decided I wanted to come to Ghana and get my first degree in Ghana and have a solid foundation, and I never looked back. I came here and I excelled. I mastered the skills as a graphic designer. But as for the painting, I could already paint. I could draw. But the graphics allowed me to be more specific and direct, And then with the right mentors and then the desire to excel, that's what we're showing. When we go to school, the first thing in kindergarten, they teach you how to write ABC. And then you ask somebody, do you know how to draw? They'll say, I can't draw. I can't draw. But they're right. Writing is a drawing of letters. So the emphasis has been for us to write our ABCs. Why don't we to add the drawing of a human finger, our parts, as part of that early training, so the child who is growing knows how to draw a full human being, proportionate. Because the subtle psychology behind the ability to draw a human being is that you become good at it. You love a human being. You won't want to draw a human being with a funny hand. And in loving the human being, you become more pro-human. We love our humankind and be more endearing and that type of stuff. That is a direction we're going to go. Because we have to remind people that it's not just the letters, not the cursive and everything else. Let's draw the human figure, the face, and all that. You see, it shows in how we have become so good that we've jazzified our expression to draw the human figure, paint the human figure. So I feel you can teach. There are some people who are slow learners and they give up easily. So the trick or the inspiration to get somebody who normally would be disinterested is to make it easy. And making it easy comes from us who have done it over and over and over and over, that we can make it simple. We find a simple way of getting somebody to express themselves without feeling, oh, my figure is not as good as this other person, so I'm not going to draw, I'm not going to paint. They'll say my work is dirty. That discouraging thing is an element that intrudes in teaching or getting somebody who wants to express themselves that way. And I found that there's an intrusion into creativity. Is this introduction of competitions? Competitions for painting, where somebody will decide that this person's painting or this person's thing is better than the other. We should allow everybody to express themselves the way it comes naturally, because we all don't see things the same way, and then the emphasis should be on the freedom of expression and not dampening somebody's spirit that, oh, your thing is not too good. And that it's a bad habit we've developed. So anywhere it surfaces around me, I frown on it. You know, after being in the US for a while and seeing how subtly detrimental and destructive these competitions have done to people, killed a lot of creativity, made people be bitter, brought disunity where it shouldn't be. We are looking for a psychological and visual way of neutralizing this destructive spirit that is lingering around and banish it. So every single person here can express themselves as happily as possible, no matter what the endeavor is. If you're a cook, farmer, carver, server of a nation, serve in style. Let people see how happy, how you love your fellow human being and we want to do things to make them excel, and all of us will be happy. I describe my work as symbolographic because it's based on symbols, graphical symbols with a purpose. The motive is to inspire or be thought-provoking. And there's this painting. This sums up my Ghanaian fanaticism. The title of this painting is Sang Question. Like Sankofa, but Sang Question. And it speaks for itself. There's Ghana, there's a question mark, and the inner space of a question mark is a Sankofa bird. Looking to the past, Sankofa. Let's look to our past for the wisdom of our ancestors to lead us into the future. And it's on a circular canvas. You don't see circular paintings, they are not common. Yeah. But the circle is a very powerful, attention-getting shape. And I like to utilize it for a purpose because it draws attention and holds attention long enough for the message within the painting to get across to whoever is looking at it. You know, now, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. Do you see it? You see, you have to look at it to see, get the message.
It's detailed.
And it's a pointillism. You know, like, I've been dotting for the past, how many? Nearly 50 years. It takes patience.
It's not difficult.
It doesn't matter. The motivation and the function and the need for it to be done has totally neutralizes the time element. Unfortunately for me, I've not allowed anybody's impatience to interfere with my creative process. Like I said, there are some trees that take 20 years to mature. This piece, humaginated. I have a stool that sits over in the back, establishing, acknowledging the presence of the kingdom here on earth. The mask representing our ancestors, the female and the male. Man and woman were created. Be fruitful and multiply, standing out of the water. If I didn't explain it, does it tell? The key to our paintings is the title, because the title would make a person who is looking, oh, okay. That's the imagination, the human beings in here. Like manifested. Yeah. And then, you know, we look at the mysterious side of life, something coming out of a pot, an emergence, because every vessel has what is inside, what is coming out of it. And here, I'm just capturing the face of a noble, wise man coming out of a pot. There's a humorous element to it that I like to sometimes entertain myself by doing unusual.
Strange.
No, not strange. I mean, it's unusual. Yeah, you know, it's expression.
So we'll take the last one. The sun.
This is in close harmony. The sun and the moon have been the two heavenly bodies that have inspired and influenced humanity since the beginning of time. So the transition together. You said the sun, we call it the sun and moon, in close harmony. I could have called it the sun and moon, but in close harmony to trigger the thought that, yeah, they're together as a team.